Good morning. The great occasion, the auspicious occasion for University of IBEC. This is the second conference for University of IBEC at the hub of the Sagaing Hill. So I see the brilliant future ahead for Sagaing areas in our Buddha Sasana. So this is the first I want to talk about. The situations of our academic institution. When we see the product of higher education, we see such kinds of occasion, like conference, seminar, talk, research. So today we witness the first two keynote speech delivered by CRO and academic, and the second, the two research paper from the researcher from different university. So this is a good sign for us to see the product of academic institution. When we see the activities of university, this is the part of the activities of the university in higher education level. Because we walk and we show. So this is one important thing. Some people walk only walk, but they don't show. So sometimes we don't know what's going on there. So in academic institution, whatever you do, you have to show. You have to show your power, your strength, your ability, your skill, your contribution. And then we appreciate our two researchers from DVU and IBPU, Dr. Ashin Tatila and Ashin Riwada from University of IBEC. Sometimes I discuss with my students, when I hear such kinds of research presentation, such kinds of research talk, I can live without having lunch or breakfast. So I can enjoy the whole day without having any food or any nutrition, because this is our academic nutrition. But as a moderator, I have some view and some vision and some suggestion and some recommendation for their presentation. The two presenters present in Buddhism in contemporary world concerning the main topic, the impact of nursing the patient from Buddhist psychotherapy. This is a very trending topic in Buddhist society. Another one is the social welfare activities. This is also long-term training topic in the Buddhist community as well. So these two topics are very relevant to our contemporary world. So we need to discuss, we need to talk, we need to do research on such kinds of topics. So as an academic, we do research, focus on research, and then deliver our finding and discussion as our research contribution. This is very impactful, it is very useful for the future, so that's also a good sign. So I do appreciate the two presenters for your contribution. So these are very wonderful presentations. So they are very good because we need to hear more and more about this one. Another important thing is when we do the research, first what we see is what's going on there. So we collect the data and then we analyze and discuss, and then we present in such kinds of conference. This is a simple way of presenting our finding and discussion. That's also a good sign. But as a higher education level, as a research-oriented institutional level, so we need more quality research. That's also another important thing. As a researcher, you have to focus on not normal research, not the blind research, with in-depth research for the better future, for our higher education, for our Buddhist study. So that's also another important thing. So as a researcher, you have to bring not only what, you have to bring how and why as well. You have to bring. Because we know what's going on. We know. We have sixth sense. But sometimes we don't know much about how and why. So as a researcher, you have to add more, not only what and how and why as well. So this is also very serious research contribution. Because as a normal person, people know what, but as a scholar, as a specialist, they know how and why. So that's also another important thing. So as a researcher, please bring what, how and why as well, and some other questions as well. But these three are basic foundations of research. So, but I hear some what, some how, and some why. It is good enough, but we need to do more on these topics, because these topics are very serious topics. We cannot explain overnight. We cannot solve the problem overnight, but we have to do more research work on these two areas. So these are very serious areas. So, but Dr. Shinjatila and Shinjora, they try their best. So I do appreciate your contribution. The other thing is our Buddhist perspective. Whatever you do research as a Buddhist scholar, as a Buddhist monk, as the inner cycle members of Buddhist community, never ever forget to use Buddhist inner philosophy. For example, Dr. Shinjatila used Buddhist psychotherapy. This is also another thing. But we need to do more on this one, using the Buddhist ideology, Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist way of life for our community. This is also another thing, another important thing. For example, social welfare as well. They are also the same. What the Buddha said about social welfare, you have to use this one also. Sometimes the researcher forget the basic foundations of our Buddhist concept that we call the Buddha Dhamma. So don't forget to use deeper and deeper level, because sometimes the Dhamma itself is very deep. We call the Gambhira. Duddhata, Duranubodha. But the Dhamma Desana, for example, Dhamma Gavedana is not deep. If Dhamma is deep, nobody will understand. So, Dhamma itself is deep, but Dhamma must be easy to understand. That's also another important thing. So, whatever you do as a researcher, don't make complicated. Use it well, and then make it simple. So that's also another important thing. So, but from two presenter, I hear very profound and deep Buddhist perspective for applications of Buddhist community. This is also another good thing. So this is from Buddha perspective. And then another perspective is from the Buddhist psychotherapy. Sometimes when we do research, you have to focus not only on the current situation, and then you have to foresee the future as well. What will be the next? Because you are focusing only on what's going on here in the present. It's good for meditation or insight meditation, but for research you have to think about the future as well. It's also important. After we do the research, what is the impact of this research? What will be the next? So this is also another important thing. Whatever I hear our research, whatever I witness our research, I see only one thing. This is very contemporary training. For example, sustainable development goal. In Pali, we call the Saddhamma Sira Thidika. This is what I understand. How long it will last for future, for better future, for everyone. So this is also another important. Whatever you talk about the healthcare, you have to think about only one sustainable development goal. Good health and well-being. This is one sustainable goal from the UN. This is also another important thing. Whatever you do your research must be contemporary and then easy to understand, not only for our Buddhist community, for the people, for all, regardless of anything. So that's also another important thing. Not only for Buddhist community, not only for Buddhism, for all. That's also another important thing. So good health for all, for well-being for all. So Buddhist philanthropy, Buddhist healthcare, whatever you name it, just good health for and well-being. That's also this one kind of sustainable development goal. So this is also another. You have to think about this. You have to think the future. Without future, whatever we do is useless. And then in Buddhist perspective, we saw the Raga. In Pali, my favorite one is Zikisa Parama Raga. We are always hungry. So you have to take care of such kinds of situation. And the sustainable development goal, one goal is very beautiful. Zero hunger. I don't know who wrote this one, but it's beautiful. The zero hunger is you have to complete this goal. You have to complete this goal. Zero hunger. So this such kinds of modern perspective you have to think about. Even you don't write in your paper, you have to think about the impact of your research. Now I have nearly 7 questions here today, discussion with the audience. We hear their concern. For example, some students ask about the situation when they are dying. Even they think about the last minute of our life. So it's very serious. And then we have to think about the Tente Iduado. You have to think about Tente Iduado. when we are dead, when we die, we have to also think about it. It's not the end. It will be the end of the beginning. So think about the future. So good health, the well-being, the zero hunger. So you have to think about the future. So whatever you do the research, think of the future. Don't think about yourself. Think of the future. So this is also important things. And the same as well, the second paper, the Shinji Ora as well, the social welfare. This is also another important topic. We have to work for the welfare of the people, not only for ourselves. This is Atahita Prize. This is very core foundations of Buddhist perspective. But when we do the social welfare as a Buddhist people, Buddhist monk, we have to think all as well. Here we do everything, education, health, infrastructure. But what I think, when we hear the social welfare working by the Buddhist monk, what I see is they focus mostly on the less Dokita people, not fully Dokita people. That's also another important thing. So focus on both Dokita, great Dokita, great Dokita as well. For example, we have aged home for the elder people. For patients, we have the hospital. For education, we have Pariyāya Saganite and Bhaka school or something like that, and academic institution, something like this. But why don't we teach for the blind people, for example? Why don't we teach for the deaf people? We have to also think about this one. So when we can do everything, you have to do only one thing, the last thing. This is one of the sustainable development goals. Peace, justice, and strong institution. I love it. I love it too much. I don't know why. Because a lot happening around here. We cannot cover everything. We cannot cover. Here is suffering, here is suffering, here is suffering, here is suffering, everywhere is suffering. And then we have to help. But sometimes we forget the lay foundations of what's going on here. Peace, justice, and strong institution. That's also another. This is what should do as a social welfare. This is one kind of sustainable development. I don't know who wrote this, but it's beautiful. So as a researcher, as a research scholar, as a research institution, we have to focus for not only for current situation in contemporary war, we have to foresee our future as well. Maybe near future, maybe far future, wherever it is, whenever it is, but don't forget to think about the future. And when you think about the future, don't forget to use our Buddhist inner core teaching, the Dhamma as well. And this is my lecture. Sorry for this one. So I will discuss one more thing. This is about the paper, the process of their research. I will discuss a little bit. Do I have some time? Okay, I have only 1 minute left. Sorry. So, when you present the paper, when you write the research paper, currently we are using the contemporary writing style. For example, introduction, body, conclusion, and introduction, literature review, research methodology, finding and discussion, and result and conclusion, something like this. When we do our research, we use the Buddhist perspective. But when we do the research, don't forget to use our inner Buddhist perspective. For example, when you discuss, don't forget to use the Sadhu, Four Noble Truths. When you analyze, don't forget to use Eightfold Noble Path. Something like this. Because we know as a research scholar, research student in higher education level, we use pure Western approach to write the paper, to contribute such kinds of presentation. But sometimes we forget the way of analysis, the way of evaluation as a Buddhist perspective. So this is also another important thing. Introduction. Do we have introduction in our Buddhist perspective? Do we have conclusion in our Buddhist perspective? This one also very important. You have to think about this organization style or research process. Do we have our research process according to the Buddhist perspective? That's also another important thing. We have to take care of this one also. So here they present the very Western way, for example, bibliography, introduction, and then content, and the topic, abstracts, keywords. This is the format, MLE or EPE or Sagaing or something, whatever it is. But do we have our Buddhist style? Do we have Eightfold Noble Path research methodology? You have to think about this one. You have to think about this one as an academic institution. Or do we forget to discuss in discussion session use Vithodi Mega? Tira Vithodi, Diti Vithodi, Sita Vithodi, Diti Vithodi, Mega, do we also use such kinds of analysis in research? So you have to also think about this. So as a Buddhist institution, academic institution, as a Buddhist scholar, good, when we use the Western approach and Western style, this is also good because you have to show for the international audience. And then for Buddhists, we also should use our Buddhist approach, Buddhist way of research. For example, Dukkha, Mudaya, Nirodha, Mega. This is the kind of the research the Buddha did 2,500 years ago. Something like this. Tisanya, Krisanya, Katanya. These are the analysis, these are the evaluation the Buddha used at the very first sermon of the Dhamma. Do we also use such kinds of approach in our research methodology? I'm not sure. So I suggest all the researchers and all the research students, do your best, use our Buddhist inner code very well, not only the theory and experiments as well, and then one day we can apply it for the better future. So this is what I believe. So thank you very much for doing present. You did very well, and we are very grateful for your presentation. And thank you very much for our Dhamma brother and sister. I hope this contribution will impact for Buddhist academic institution for better future. Thank you very much.